As long as you got breath, and as long as we're facing this kind of threat, you have an obligation, a stewardship responsibility to fight for what has been given to us. These freedoms were given to us by men who pledged their lives, their fortunes, and their sacred honor. And many of them died delivering this freedom to us. We can do no less than to give of our time, talent, and treasure. This is tyranny. And we must resist it, and we must push back. There are many more examples of legislative maneuvering that is happening right now in Washington, D.C. that seeks to socialize or seek a socialistic end, but time won't permit. The second threat speaks to a philosophical idea. It is the philosophy behind the move to socialize our nation. And here's where I want you to pay attention, because I think most of us have not considered this point of view. But it's a point of view, I think, that is perhaps driving the moment more than anything else that we're facing. This philosophy is represented in social and economic Darwinism. Social and economic Darwinism. This insidious idea of evolution through time, chance, circumstances seeks to eliminate God from human history and replace him with a power elite who will determine arbitrarily what is right and what is wrong. Men and women, hear me and hear me loud and clear. We are fighting an idea. We are fighting against a worldview that leaves God out. Social Darwinism is a belief, a popular belief that was popularized in late Victorian era in England, America, and elsewhere, which states that the strongest or the fittest should survive and flourish in society. The strongest and the fittest. While the weak and the unfit are to be allowed to die. That's inside of Darwin's philosophy. That's what we've been teaching our children when we teach them about evolution. The strongest survive and the weak must die. Let me say to you parenthetically, I've been studying this and looking at this for some time. There is an idea among these Darwinists that suggests that we are at a place where the human race is about to make another evolutionary leap. But the thing that is stopping the evolutionary leap are Christians. We're in the way. They want us out the way so that they can implement an idea that is devoid of the divine. Darwinism and socialism go hand in glove together. Socialism does not believe in the divine. They don't believe in God. When they speak of a utopian society, an egalitarian society, they are speaking of an idea that was crafted in the minds of men. Many of you who study the scripture recognize that equality is an idea that the Bible speaks of. It says that we are all equal before Christ. There's not Scythians, there's not barbarians. We're all equal. Equal in this regard, that we are all made in the image of God, the imago Dei. We are in the image of God. But God didn't make us all equal. If we were all equal, Paul says, what is the use of the body if all of us were the head? Just imagine that, just one big head moving around, that's all, just a head. No arms, no legs, nothing, just a head. He says, no. The body is made up of many different parts with many different functions. And so this utopian idea of equality, egalitarianism, where everybody is equal, is an anti-Bible idea. Men and women, we're fighting against the philosophy. We're fighting an idea. It is a Christian worldview versus a secularist worldview. That's what we're up against. It has its footing in England and America and elsewhere, which states that the strongest and the fittest should survive and flourish. The theory was chiefly expounded by Herbert Spencer, whose ethical philosophy always held an elitist view and received a boost from the application of Darwin's ideas such as adaptation and natural selection. How many of you heard the word elite? The elite who's governing our nation. Men and women, that's exactly what we got. We got a power elite in Washington, D.C. who believe that they're smarter than you are, they're more intelligent than you are, they know more than you do, and they know how to make what is right versus what is wrong fit their agenda. Is this a new idea? No, it isn't. Francis Schaeffer, in a book titled How Should We Then Live? How many of you remember that book? There's a few of you. In that book, he asks and answers the question, what will happen when the Christian consensus is removed out of the public square? He answers, it will be replaced by an elite who will be comprised from academia, from politicians, from the business community, and the scientific community. And they will determine arbitrarily what is right versus what is wrong. Francis Schaeffer told us that back in 1977. He said, America, if you don't recognize what's happening, you are abdicating your freedoms to a power elite who believes in Darwin, that says that we sit at the top of the pyramid because we're more evolved intellectually than you. And we can determine what's right and wrong. But here's the catch. Many Darwinists are relativists. You know what that means? That what's right today may not be right tomorrow with a relativist. And so it may be right today to feed the poor, but tomorrow it may be right to kill them with these Darwinists. That's what we have done by allowing these who are in Washington who do not believe in God to run our country. We did that because it wasn't politically correct for us to mention God. You know, we can't have anybody, you know, because everybody doesn't believe in God, so we shouldn't have anybody talk about God, so don't talk about God. And the Christians abdicated and said, well, okay, you may be right there. Not recognizing that this country was founded on a Judeo-Christian frame. That this Constitution has over 78 references to the book of Leviticus. These men knew exactly what they were doing when they crafted this Constitution, and they did it with the Bible in their hand. Natural selection. Adolf Hitler, a proponent of Darwinism and a eugenicist, says this, quote, in the limitation of living space lies the struggle of survival and the struggle for the survival in terms contained in the precondition of evolution. Let the strongest live and the weakest die, unquote. This, my friends, is social Darwinism. And this administration, with men like John Holdren and Zeke Emanuel and Cass Sustain, are crafting how we do health care in America based on that philosophy. Based on that philosophy. They are looking to depopulate this country because the economy cannot afford what the baby boomers are forcing on this country right now. The baby boomers are the problem, and the baby boomers can solve the problem. Baby boomers are the problem because we came in as a bubble. When we came in as a bubble, we had an incredible positive impact on the economy. We're going out as a bubble, and we're demanding Social Security, Medicaid, and Medicare, and we are going bankrupt because we cannot supply the coverage for everybody in the baby boomer age set.